the distinguished investors, corporate partners, media, friends, and most importantly, all the startups which are here today. Today is a culmination of something we started 5 years ago. I'm always speaking about startups. You've maybe heard me speak many times, and I used to go to many of these events, and one day I said, rather than giving speeches, we have to start doing something. And that's the vision and mission with which we started this activity. Our country is going to be the fastest growing large country in the next 2 decades. As I always say, to be in India is to be like a kid in a candy store. Whenever you send some kid to a candy store, there is so much to do. You're looking to pick and see what you can do. And if you let a kid loose in a candy store, you only see opportunity. This is really our country today. The opportunities for young men and women in India are unprecedented. I would give anything to be 18 years old today. I can't be, so the only other choice is to keep feeling like you're 18 and keep doing crazy things. But all of you and what you're doing is fantastic. This is something which will take our country forward. Our country has always been a country of entrepreneurs. You go back thousands of years, we were at 30% of world economy. Unfortunately, because of 200 years, we fell back to less than 3%. It's time for us to get back. And this can only happen through innovation, through new ideas coming. Our focus as Pinnacle AIC is very clear. We are here to bring the ecosystem together. Bharat and I were discussing this morning, and I'm also part of many other incubators in the city. And what we always see is that somebody is good at something, but not everybody is good at everything. If it's an academic incubator, typically they are very good at training. They are very good at bringing the academic portion of this. But the challenge always is, how do you bring corporate connects? If there is something which is coming from the government, they have particular restrictions in terms of how they can operate. Again, the connections are there. If it's a corporate sponsored incubator, then sometimes they also have limitations. The startup ecosystem will only succeed if all of us come together. So this is our attempt to bring together the ecosystem. It's a small first attempt to get everybody to come together. Magic happens when smart men and women come together and start ideating. And again, this is not about speeches, so I'm going to be very short. This is not about giving you gyan. I don't think you need gyan. What you need is, you need first of all validation that your ideas are working. Sometimes validations that your ideas won't work is equally important. It's important to get honest feedback. You're not here to for somebody to clap and say it's wonderful and then go turn around and say, "Arey, to kabhi chalne wala nahi hai." That's not the idea here. So we are here for bringing together all of the elements of the ecosystem. We are very fortunate to have valued partners here who bring a wealth of experience, who bring a checkbook, but checkbook is only one part of it. They will bring for you much more than what money can bring. My only request to you is, our focus as Pinnacle AIC is not certain things. And let me be clear what we are not. We are not, our focus is to support what we call genuine IP. And that is where we would like to restrict our focus. We are not here to support things which say, okay, I want to create valuation by selling which is something which is 1 rupee for 50 paisa. Many in India can do that. It lasts for a while, but it is not something which is can create sustainable value. So we want to support startups which typically find it difficult to get support. I'll give you an example. This is a fantastic example of how innovation can happen. There is a company called Architron that we started supporting about 6 to 7 years ago. Very young engineers, a guy called Ganesh, etc., who started working with us. They had a dream and mission to make assisted living devices. So basically, assisted living devices are what are called wheelchairs for paraplegics. For if you go on Amazon or Google, you will see that there's a lot of people who need specialized wheelchairs. Now this is a market maybe of about 500 crores at that time, but it was 90% China, 95% China. So these young people came to us and we started working with them. I still remember the first investment was around 5 lakhs. And more than the money, we were able to support them by manufacturing ideas, by proto shop, by actually carrying out their manufacturing for some time. I'm delighted to tell you, yesterday, this company, including an IN, was working with us on this, had an exit of 70 crores. Now the idea is not that the valuation that they got, and this 70 crores was for part of the company. But most importantly, if you go on Amazon today and you see the #1 product in that category, it is a product coming from Archetron. This is made in India, made in our city. It is helping thousands of those who otherwise would not be able to. It's a very emotional thing. They have something called commode wheelchair, which basically is for people who are not able to move out from their beds and need something where they can take a shower or they can go to the toilet. So it's something which is very, very essential for those people who need it. And this is the #1 device in this country, which is being made in India, being made in Pune. That is what we would like to support. We also have startups which are trying to do social innovation. This is a very, very important area. Agriculture. Agriculture, as we all know, has been neglected because the challenge for agri startups always is who will pay for it. The farmer has limitations in terms of paying, and any agri-related startup, typically the first question is, how are you going to have a monetization model? So those are the kinds of startups we want to support. The third critical area is electric vehicles, the movement towards electric vehicles in India. This is the single largest manufacturing opportunity in India in the next 100 years. 45% of manufacturing in India is the automotive industry. 30 to 50% of this will get disrupted, which means 15 to 20% of manufacturing in India will get disrupted over the next 5 years. And here, the good part is everybody is starting on ground zero. So even the biggest of OEMs are starting at the same level as a startup which is coming with an idea of today. So this is a fantastic, fantastic opportunity for new people, for innovators, for technocrats to think of ideas on how this will change. The Prime Minister is given a vision to make India the EV capital of the world. I think it's very eminently possible. And this is one more area that we are deeply focused on. We want to support startups in that space. So thank you again for coming. It's an honor for us. It's fantastic to see so many distinguished entrepreneurs here, so many distinguished academicians here, so many distinguished people from government here. This is the whole idea. We want to bring the ecosystem together. India needs where all of these elements come together, and that is where we want products which are made for Bharat, not only for Bharat but for the world. And our city especially can be at the center of this. There is an incredible amount of innovation that I see all the time, because having been part of many associations, to see the energy of those, the idea is to channelize it in a manner that they can grow. One more last thing I would say.